What's up, studs? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. The holy dead dog out there last week. The market is grinding higher, but there's not that many good-looking setups, in play. So let's spend some time digging into the indexes on the QQQs, the SPY, and the IWM, and then we'll dig into what the heck is happening at gold and silver, and then from there we'll formulate our watch list. I will say one thing, it's slim pickings out there. Even though the Qs grinded up on kind of a low volume week, and it looks okay, and we're kind of in this, diamond pentagon thing, parabola, whatever you want to call them, rhombozoid. But I didn't find that many good looking stocks, and that's really my tell for how aggressive I want to be in the markets. It's like index one thing, but I want to see like a beautiful, glossy watch list. You can see the SPY's broken out to all-time highs, but I didn't really see that much that at least interested me personally, especially in how I trade, which is I need a lot of liquidity and a lot of ATR in the names that I trade. Didn't really see that much in those kind of names. So let's spend some time digging into this. So look, the market is fine, but we're just a little bit tired. It was a holiday week, so maybe it was just a little bit dead, but it kind of feels a little bit different. Like high beta stocks itself kind of all look like trash on Friday. You can see you got breakdown setups here at RGTI, beautiful bear flag right there, right? Like how, you can see here very similar setup at IONQ. And even like the space stocks that were so hot, right? They had a big down day here and they needed it, right? This thing was $35, goes to $80. You got to pull back at some point, right? ASTS, we'll ask the mouth here, also pulled back, quite a bit, down 20 points in a couple days. So we got like a leg down in these high beta names. That's your quantums, your nuclears, they all, right, look just like really kind of like nasty McGee's. So the market is at all-time highs, we're almost there for the Qs, but definitely there on the SPY, on the Dow, right? The IWM even looks okay, but inside of those names, you don't really see that much. It's one of those things, and this happens every blue moon. There will be times in your life where you're young and rich and jacked, and you're like, man, I got everything going on right now. I got the perfect storm, and it's Saturday, and you're at home playing pocket pool, watching two ladies on Mahjong, two ladies play Mahjong on YouTube Live, and you're like, is this my life? And we're kind of in that phase right now where, we just got nothing going on. It's like the indexes are showing us, hey, we're in a beautiful market, but we're just not there. We got no women's right now. We got no women's, right? So it's just us in our hands, and that's okay. Having a little bit of self-care is, important sometimes. And so, I took it easy last week. I think I made maybe 10 to 12 trades. Usually I might be doing that in a couple hours, right? So let's dig into the watch list and see what's going on. But before we go in there, right, let's take a look. Obviously the big talk of the town is this gold and, or silver more than gold. But you're in breakout territory in gold. I wouldn't say it's parabolic on gold. Silver is getting there. I have no interest in shorting this unless it really opens up. And, right, I want to see that verticality before I dig into this. But look, big hairy Indian butt. The hardest setup in the world is to do a counter trend parabolic short. They show up every blue moon. They're high reward. But you got to get stopped out a bunch of times, small most of the time before you hit it. And then when you hit it, it's never, all you're kind of doing is making back all those small losses. And then you kind of even out and you're like, you're happy and you get out of it. That's at least what happens with me a majority of time. There's a handful of times when SMCI, topped out or MSTR, I got some decent chunks. But there's a lot of these times where it's just a stress burger. So if this opens weak or flat, I'm leaving it alone. If it gaps up, give me 73, 74, 75. Then I'll probably look in and maybe I'll do some puts. You do have very short-dated puts in gold and silver. If not, I'll probably, I'll see what the margin's on AGQ. This is the 2X ETF on silver. The problem with these things is these ETFs is sometimes they change the margin requirements at the brokers and you're thinking you're getting 4-1, and then this is 2-1. So you're like sitting there like maybe I get 8-1, and then they're like, hey, you can basically just trade with whatever cash is in your account, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't really get the oomph that you need. So I think this will probably be my go-to for tomorrow. If it gaps up, like I need to see that big whoosh. Otherwise, I'm not doing the stress on it. I'm too old, too bald, too fat. Well, not fat, but right? Like too old, too bald to be messing around with these things. It's there. The setup is there, but I need to see the verticality before I'm really, that much interested in it. It's there, but it's a hard setup, man. It really is. So you got to be a little bit careful. Beyond that, let's take a look here. There's a couple of names that are looking okay. You got WDC. Nice little setup over here. Like, not like something epic. It's like a $5 setup, but it's got a good look. SNDK's got a spot here, too. It did have like a little bit of an inside day, which is good. You need that to catch up. So watch this kind of 260-ish trigger, and we'll see kind of what dives into all of that. I'm still watching this Dachshund over here, and this is, this is more of a swing setup here, but we got a big kind of multi-year range break on this if we can get there. Like I said, it's a swing setup because it's just not liquid enough to day trade at 500 to 1,000 to maybe 2 million shares a day. It usually will do. So you got to leave it alone on the day trading side. You know what? I'm very interested in these solars if they can catch a bid. Shills, I think FSLR is kind of back tested. Its breakout spot, it got a little bit long in the tooth. It's going to back test it down here. And if that happens, like look at the weekly on this thing at 300 and some change. If it ever clears that, like you're really, dude, you're ripping tits, man. Like that's it's great. I'm Indian, but I'm not the best at math sometimes. But that's, a nearly 20-year breakout. I would just go with nearly, right? It's messed up, man. As an Indian person, I should be a lot better at math. I used to ask my mom all the time, like, Mom, why are we so hairy, right? Like, why are Indian people so hairy? Because, like, I remember, like, being in, like, 5th grade, and it was, like, I had this huge hairy chest. Like, I had leg hair, arm hair. I had the sprinkles coming out. I had like the little crustache developing. By 6th grade, I was full on crustache lifestyle, right? Like I should have just put a wife beater on and called it a day. But I would ask my mom all the time, like, why are we so hairy? She'd be like, Kunal, the reason that the Indian people are so very much hairy is because we are so good at the math. And here I am, I'm not even good at math, right? It's fucking bullshit is what it is. But, dude. This thing, watch this 300 and some change level. I think we're going to be in for a good spot. If we need a bear flag, maybe coin. Yeah, I think these are the last days to kind of be shorting some of these crypto names, though. My guess is, and it's a guess, but if silver rolls over, gold rolls over, say we got like a 10% pullback in those kind of things. I think that money probably goes into crypto at some point because it's like the only thing that hasn't moved all year, right? Everything else went except that. That money's got to find its way, and I don't think it's going into the lame sevens or whatever you want to call them. I think it goes into, maybe it catches a bid into like IWM, crypto-y kind of things. Now look, I can't find any good IWM stocks right now, and ain't any good-looking crypto stocks right now. So we still got to let them play out, let a bid show up, and let's see that turn, and then we'll kind of play it that way. CCL, hey, this day here, there's like 100 million shares of volume. On earnings, you're starting to backtest, some of this area again. I think that could work too. Let's add that one. Tesla's one of those things. It's having a lot of trouble at 500. I think it needs to like kind of dust back into this bone zone here and maybe come back and like retest this 465 and then do it. Tesla's one of those ones, like it's like when it's ugly, it tends to like turn around and get a little bit better. And when it's like, whenever you think it's going to rip, it never does, right? It's just, it's the way it works itself. But keep an eye on that one. And like I said, like all these kind of like more specky names that I've been watching, like they're not doing much. I got to probably do a little bit deeper dive and find like more specky, more different, better speckies, whatever. But maybe Biotech's been having a lot of PRs out there lately. And you can see here on the IBB, like that looks pretty good. Not like a huge ATR on the bios right now. Like if you look and see like inside IBB, kind of like what's hot this last 6 months, you can see there's quite a few fucking names here, right? Like, so that is like where you can do kind of a little bit of a top down. If you see here, like this whole 6 months, like look at this thing. A handful of these things are negative, but like all these are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So, do a deep dive into some of these. My issue on this is that, these are better swing traders than maybe day traders because a lot of them just don't have a lot of liquidity that I personally need for day trading. Like, right? Like if you're trying to buy 5,000 shares or something or 10,000 shares or something, it gets a little bit tricky. Like you're only, if you're trading stocks to do like less than 10 mil, right? So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. So it's slim pickings out there. Like I said, you could be in the prime of your life and sometimes you're just going to be at home playing pocket pool. That's the nature of the game, man. But self-care is self-love too, right? So I love you guys. Peace. I just want to give you some market thoughts, even though I would give this watch list a C-. I love you guys. Peace.